Devon's endurance is now a lot less of what it used to be, which is completely normal given that he's 50 years old and put on like 50 pounds of weight in the last 3 years. But back in the day, he used to be an endurance freak. This answer is more complex than people think. It really depends on the area of the fight it takes place on. Devon has incredible outside endurance. He can establish strong hand control till the very end. However, Gennady has better shoulder endurance. And when the fight takes place inside he won, that doesn't necessarily mean he has better overall endurance. Different arm wrestlers have stronger endurance in different area. Let's take Jerry, for example. The dude got better triceps and shoulder endurance as compared to Gennady. That's how he was able to gas out Gennady.
Here we go, the side pressure from Gennady.
Gennady simply had more physical strength. You can compare endurance when both athletes are equal in strength and power. In terms of outside endurance, if you put everyone in the highest and best endurance position, Devon absolutely has the best endurance of all time. Funny thing is, Devon said Gennady won't come back to the table and challenged him to the best of 7. After the last match with Gennady, he looks like he's about to pass out and will get flash pin if they continue while Gennady look as fresh. Devon was breathing heavy and Gennady jumping all around. A big part of Devon's strategy is always to gain as much advantage before go and not to start fair. We keep hearing from most people that Devon has superior endurance to anyone. Even profiles like Engen can't believe that anyone has better endurance than Devon Larratt. The guy is not in his 30s anymore, and today he relies on his insane hand, pronation, and wrist strength combined with table IQ. Of course, he still has the bicep and shoulder commitment, but he can't be in a fight with someone close enough in strength without being gassed. He was bloated like hell against Todd at King of the Table and didn't have that much left in the last round, though having full control the whole match. Then against Prudnik, he was truly gassed in the last round, and even against Sandris, you could see him lose some of it when he tested himself inside. Well, of course, he was not close to lose that day, but worth mentioning. It is a difference pulling 100 weaker guys in a club than pulling one with equal or more strength in a war for 5 rounds. Then, of course, he often finds positions where the opponents drain themselves out, but that is more table IQ than endurance. I don't think it is endurance in the cardiac sense that Devon is superior in, although he has notable accomplishments and background in cardiac endurance. It is some kind of muscular endurance that he possesses, a retention of strength after sustained effort that most people cannot match. It is almost surely genetic, and this is why people like Engen believe nobody currently known can gain the ability to match his endurance. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of potential genetic mutations that could increase someone's muscular endurance. We can only speculate on what exactly is going on in his body. It's likely his lactic acid energy pathway from arm wrestling all day long. His muscles are likely very good at clearing lactic acid and replenishing glycogen. He probably has a lot of mitochondria in his slow twitch muscles as well. There is a video where Devon talks about having his VO2 max tested in the military when he was winning triathlons and had crazy cardio. To the surprise of everyone, he had the lowest VO2 max that they had ever tested. They even tested again because it didn't make sense, and got the same result.
Just won the Ironman. So I'm like, I'm going to have a great VO2 score. I had the lowest VO2 on the entire course, and I had the second lowest VO2 that they had ever tested. And I was like, right away, I was like, whoa. You screwed it up. There's no way my VO2 is this low. I'm like, check it again. And they're like, okay, we check it. We'll check it again. So I redid the test, same score. Okay. Like my VO2 at the time, I think it was like 47 or 48. And I don't understand a lot about the VO2 scores, but Like, not that 47 or 48 is terrible, but 47 or 48 for what I was doing did not add up.
They hypothesized that a different energy system was actually responsible for his endurance even when doing what should have been pure cardio. He is definitely a genetic freak. I'd argue Devon outlasted Prudnik because he got into better positions. In all rounds except the last, Devon forced a hook where he was sitting with his body on Prudnik's bicep until Prudnik gave up. Devon was way better and seemed much stronger than Prudnik, but I don't think he won due to his endurance. And the match didn't display that his endurance was better. Devon arm wrestles all day long. That's maybe like his whole thing. His mitochondria and lactic acid pathway are getting a good workout, even if he doesn't necessarily train for peak torque. No doubt some table IQ can probably help spare his energy as well. Devon, while strong, compared to everyone above him, he is only really lacking in strength and speed. His pure athletic endurance might not be the same as when he was winning the military Ironman race and doing thousands of push-ups. But his arm wrestling endurance is still top level because of the table IQ and specific strengths he's developed to compensate. He's extremely efficient. I think these things are kind of inseparable. Endurance in this context is the ability to maintain high level of strength over time. In this he excels. His force output is very consistent throughout the match. He has a lot of endurance, but the way he pulls, draining the opponents, may let people think he got more than he actually has. Because the opponents tire a lot more than him during the matches. He doesn't almost tire against amateurs, but he suffers against strong opponents. He said he was drained after the match against Prudnik. Levance said in his opinion, Gennady has more endurance than Devon. Michael Todd, of all people, made this point a little while ago actually. Said that it appears that he has incredible endurance because of the positions he is able to get his opponents in. He recalled his WAL match a few years back, when Devon gassed out hard against him, as an example of being in a better position and making your opponent work harder for the win. In terms of arm wrestling a lot of weaker guys for a long time, that still is a feat in itself, and no one is better than Devon at it. Although he is absolutely destroying his own body for it, no doubt, and how effectively that translates to an actual match. Against weaker guys, you can really go on for hours, no problem. I'm of the opinion that his endurance has gone down, and at his age, it's really only natural. After the Prudnik match, he did say he's never felt that tired after a match before, and he didn't look like he came close to max effort, unlike in his matches pre-COVID. Of course, we found out later how damaged his arm was, so that definitely has to be draining. Watch how Devon breathes during his matches. I think Devon's endurance is maybe more in his hand and wrist rather than his arm. He is always working on his open-top roll. But I think he realized that Gennady's press was too much for his top roll to handle. Devon's just got older. Unlike raw physical strength, endurance is more difficult to keep at the same level, and it deteriorates really fast. As the athlete ages, Devon only has better endurance when he is the stronger fighter, or able to get into his positions. Devon has insane endurance in specific sticking points. People who flop generally does not seem to tire out too fast in the flop press. And I would think that a top roll generally is the worst versus a flop in a grinder, and is going to tire out most very fast. And every time Gennady got in the flop, Devon was forced into a top roll. I really just think that the arm power advantage in the strength area also just drained Gennady less when Devon had him in a hook. Gennady had the right tools to drain Devon's endurance faster, but he did not display super endurance. Also, the last round Devon lost looked like he had no business going shoulder to shoulder with. Devon Larratt said it himself. He always train outside normally. He needs to focus on training his inside game more as well to build endurance in those positions. Also, just go for the pin instead of trying to bleed his opponent out.